If you're feeling adventurous and you don't mind a rough road, you can drive 350 kilometres north of Cairns to a very rich part of Australian history, Cooktown. A gold rush, late last century, produced solid architecture like this. In 1887, they also built this lasting reminder of the first European to step ashore here, Captain James Cook. Although if Cook had had his way, he would not have stopped here at all. Of all the journeys that Captain James Cook made in the Pacific, the journey up the east coast of Australia has to go down as one of the most remarkable, because it was here that Cook got into desperate trouble. His ship was holed on one of the large coral reefs just off the Endeavour River here, outside Cooktown. He managed to bring the ship in. He was totally without communication or help from the rest of the world, and it was left to his own skill and daring, and that of the crew, of course, to get him out of this predicament. Hans Lusser is a German who has spent about 30 or 40 years studying the story of Cook and his exploits here in Cooktown.
Cook was a very well-respected man by his crew, in his society, and of course amongst the seamen, as well as a navigator, which he proved himself so outstanding, which no nation could find a better one.
Right, well this is Cooktown today. Can you tell us what happened back in June in 1770?
As Cook hit the reef, he was desperate to have his ship somewhere built to do the repairing. And so he was looking along this coast to find a place. So he come in here in this river, where he found the perfect spot to carry in his ship.
Well, one way to find out what it was really like for Cook when he sailed up the channel here, just outside the Endeavour River, is to retrace his journey. And we're going to do that today on this magnificent vessel. We're going to be actually following Cook's route in reverse and heading down in a southerly direction towards Port Douglas. Well, we're on the bridge of the beautiful, large, white Sundancer, and we're heading for Port Douglas. At the helm is Captain Mick Abel. Mick, we're travelling roughly the same route that Cook took back in 1770, aren't we?
Yes, that's correct. We're trying to retrace his steps every day so the passengers that come aboard can more or less go the same route that Captain Cook went and see what troubles he got into and what he had to do to keep his vessel afloat to make Cooktown, or the Endeavour River, where he finally ended up, to repair his vessel.
Right, now we're very close. This reef that we can see out here now, this is the reef that he went aground on, is it?
Yes, that's the reef he went aground on just over here.
That's the Endeavour Reef.
That's Endeavour Reef.
Right.
It wasn't named Endeavour Reef until 1969, because to Captain Cook it was just an unknown shoal. But in 1969 they found the cannons on Endeavour Reef, and that's how it got its name.
Right, we're travelling along here. How fast are we doing at the moment?
We're cruising at an estimated speed of about 25.5 knots. Well, Captain Cook, all he had was his sails and relied on what wind was blowing on that day.
Yes.
And so his vessel only maintained a speed of around 7 knots.
But it was all the speed Cook needed to explore and chart the Pacific. For all its friendliness and beauty, this was to be Cook's fatal shore. It was 9 years later that Cook sailed into Kealakekua Bay here. This time he was in the ship the Resolution. This was a ship that was not prepared for the long journey looking for the Northwest Passage, because Cook had initially called here for provisions, and because his ship was dismasted when he left, he had to return just a few weeks later to effect repairs here. The easiest way to reach the place where Cook died is by boat. It's a tranquil spot, despite the crumbling volcanic cliffs. The bay here is free from the big surges and swells found around the rest of the island. Cook charted these waters and knew the area well. 200 years ago, there was a tribal village beyond the scrub. Our local Hawaiian guide says that it hasn't changed much since then. Well, there are many plaques here. This one was erected by the Commonwealth of Australia. And on the pavement here, there are plaques from visiting naval ships from the Commonwealth of Nations. And of course, the largest monument here, erected by the British in 1874. Cook's trouble began when one of his longboats was stolen. In an attempt to retrieve it, Cook came ashore and took the tribal king hostage. It was then that the Hawaiians here got hostile. The natives streamed down onto this small beach here with their spears, and one of them picked up a large rock and struck Cook on the head from behind. He staggered to the water's edge here, and it was just about this point that he fell. There's a plaque here that can be seen at low tide. It marks the spot where Captain James Cook, one of the world's greatest explorers, met his death.